Didn't need to steal your line.
I'll let it ride.
Oh.
Just this time. Well, I am really geeked to present this because I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't tell somebody this. It's like, I want to say, do you want me to send you my presentation? How about you? Would you like to hear what I'm going to say? Because it's really, really cool. So this is called the Owner's Manual. I bought a new car in July of 2017. It came with all these owner's manuals. So I was wondering, how many parts are there in a car that would mean that I should have this many owner's manuals? So I did about 30 seconds worth of research, and I found on the Toyota website that a car has about 30,000 parts. I don't know what make, model, or year that means. Did you get an owner's manual when you were born? I got 11 owner's manuals, 11 with this car. What do you think is more complicated to operate, your car or your life? So raise your hand if you think it's your car. I thought it was my car. Or your life. Okay. So I still don't know what some of the buttons on my car do. And Pam and I were coming last fall, I think it was, and this little icon came on my car. And I had to give her the owner's manual to look it up while I'm driving to see what it means. And it meant that it was 37 degrees and I should watch for icy roads. Okay, I kind of figured I'd look for ice, but it was okay. And I didn't even know how to wash my windshield because what worked in my old car didn't work in my new car. And these cars are really complicated. I test drove a car that had 3 engine speeds. Really? I need 3 engine speeds? I thought it just went. Okay. And I told them I just needed a grandma car. Sort of like, I just need a 1-speed bike. Don't give me all of these things. So what's complicated about your life? Just because in linear time you go from an infant to a toddler to an elementary schooler to a tweenager to a teenager, an adult, a middle-ager, a golden ager? Well, why would that be complicated? How do we keep it all operating optimally? Well, we don't. We fumble our way through life, and then we wonder why things aren't working up to speed. Why is my life like this? What happened? So after I started writing this, I thought this talk was going to go a different way. I thought I was going to hit a lot of different subjects, like intuitive eating and sleep and listening to your body and laughter and stress and your body being the temple of God, but that didn't happen because there was no room after I started going. So I'm going to ask you to hang with me while we go down the rabbit hole, and I'm taking y'all with me, and all y'all, if you missed that conversation earlier. So I'm learning as I'm reading and writing, and I hope you learned something too. I know you know bits and pieces, but hopefully I can make this coherent for you. So this is the important information that we should have been given at birth, or should have at least been taught to us along the way. Those Coptic Youth Fellowship kids have really got an advantage here. So that God is pretty smart. She invented the cloud way before Apple invented the iCloud. You can download information from the cloud. We call that meditation. Sometimes those downloads are automatic, and you get flashes of inspiration or information. And did you know that meditation, not medication, because that can change your life too, but did you know that meditation can change your life? Of course you do, because I know that because you're here. But do you know how? I'm going to give you a new understanding of meditation, and at least it's new to me. I just read this fabulous new book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. And I feel a bit like like I'm giving you a book report in the 3rd grade. I like this book because. So Hamid Bey writes about the same information, but we get it in bits and pieces over time. I've heard this all in the 5 years that I've been involved in self-mastery, but this book gave it to me without the distraction of other topics, and certainly not the distraction of doing planks, butterflies, and rock the baby. And those of you who have been in self-mastery know exactly what I'm talking about. Perhaps it was just time for me to understand this on a deeper level. So let's begin. The first section of the manual that we should have been given when we were born is called Making a Change. All right, put on your seatbelts. Before we meditate, we are in the past present reality, meaning our past has created our present. You are continuously keeping your life the same because you keep your attention, which means your thoughts and your energy, and meeting your feelings, the same. The thoughts you think, the actions you take day in and day out, yesterday, today, and tomorrow become an automatic program. So you get up in the morning, go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you check Facebook and email, you take a shower, you get dressed, you have breakfast, you go to work, you interact with the same people that you did the day before, you do the same duties you did the day before, you drive home, you eat dinner, you watch TV sitting in the same place in the living room, you get ready for bed, you brush your teeth, you crawl into the same side of bed, and you go to sleep. So your future becomes a rerun of the past. You know the saying, if you do what you always have done, you're going to get what you always got. There's no room for change there. There's no room for the unknown in a predictable life. And I define the unknown as possibilities. There's not much room for possibilities in a predictable life. So how much room do you have for the unknown in your life? So by staying in the known, meaning you follow the same sequence each day, you have the same thoughts, you make the same choices, you have the same habits, you repeat the same level of mind over and over. So the thinking-feeling loop produces an electromagnetic field that surrounds our physical body. So here's how that works. Electrical charges are created by the neurons in the brain when we think a thought. When those thoughts cause chemical reactions that result in a feeling or emotion, those feelings create magnetic charges. Hamid Bey talks about electromagnetics in his writing. I always had trouble understanding that topic. My brain just kind of went into automatic there when I'd hear electromagnetics. But Joe Dispenza says the thoughts or intentions are the electrical charge and the feelings are the magnetic charge. That might be simplistic, but it really helped me to understand. So we're broadcasting the same electromagnetic field over and over each day by recreating our past day after day. Our energy is equal to our past. If you want to change your energy, you have to change the electromagnetic field you're broadcasting. Makes sense, right? This means you have to change how you think and feel. When you place all of your attention and energy on the outer world, Dr. Joe says you become a victim of your life instead of a creator. We want to be creators of our lives. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here. So your emotions and your energy are mixed with those of every other person, place, or thing that you experience. That means there's no energy available to create a new experience, a new job, more money, or better health. There's no energy left in your inner world of thoughts and feelings if all your attention is tied up in your outer world, the world of pay attention to this and you have to pay attention to that. So we become bonded with people that have the same emotions as us. Maybe we share resentment. Maybe it's a poor me mentality. Maybe it's an us against them. Or maybe you both belong to there's never enough club. So you're wondering what meditation has to do with all of this, right? In order to make a change, you have to get beyond all those things in your outer world by taking your attention off of them. So we can use meditation to change our internal state. This lets us break our associations to everybody, everyone, everything, everywhere, and every time. We have to transition to being nobody, no one, being nowhere, to being no thing, and to being in no time. This calls your energy back, which breaks the bonds with that past-present reality. So to become nobody means you take your attention off your body, your pain, and your hunger. To be no one, you take your attention off your identity as a partner, a parent, an employee, a gender, your race, or sexual orientation. To be no thing, you have to forget your cell phone, your emails, that movie you wanted to watch, or that carton of ice cream in the refrigerator that is calling your name. To be nowhere, to get beyond any thoughts about the chair that you're meditating in. To be in no time, get beyond distracting memories or thoughts about the future. Easy enough, right? Right, sure. When you are in no time, you are in the present moment, which is all possibilities in the quantum field. When you take your attention off all of the external elements, you start to weaken those bonds, those energetic and emotional bonds, and you free up energy so you can create something new. Well, how does our brain change when we're in the quantum field? The brain becomes coherent, and you get coherent. It means all your brain waves are in sync, and they're all having the same peak and trough. And your brain works more holistic, and you feel more whole. And the other change that happens is your autonomic nervous system, the system that's in charge of things like your breathing and your digestion and your heart rate and your blood sugar and the things that we don't consciously control. It steps in and it begins to heal the body. So you can say that when you're in the present moment, you're out of your own way. And as you become pure consciousness, going from beta brain waves to alpha brain waves into theta, your autonomic nervous system steps in and it cleans house. So Dr. Dispenza held an advanced workshop in 2016, and his team performed a study on the effect of elevated emotions on 117 test subjects. They started with saliva samples at the start of the workshop, and 4 days later at the end, they took them again. During this workshop, the students were asked to move into an elevated emotion, such as love, joy, inspiration, or gratitude, for 10 minutes, 3 times a day. The working question was, could they elevate their emotions and could they boost their immune function? The results amazed the team. The test subjects showed significant and measurable changes in one of the primary proteins involved in healthy immune function, and this occurred without any significant changes in their external environment. So something as simple as moving into an elevated state of love, joy, inspiration, or gratitude for 5 to 10 minutes a day can produce big changes in your health and life. I think that's pretty amazing. So the second section of the manual is called The Science of Manifestation. So once you're in the present moment where all possibilities exist, how do we turn a potential into a reality? There are 2 things required: a clear intention and an elevated emotion. We've heard that before. So get clear on what you want. Describe it in detail. Get specific. The intention is the electrical charge that you're sending out into the unified field. Now combine that with the elevated emotions, such as the ones we've already mentioned. Tap into the feeling that you anticipate that you will have when you manifest your intent, and then feel the emotion ahead of that. This elevated emotion is the magnetic charge. Remember, we're combining an electrical charge of intent with a magnetic charge of your emotion, and you create a new electromagnetic field around you. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and any potential, you begin to draw that new experience to you. Do you hear that? It finds you. You don't have to go looking for it. We spend a lot of time in desperation instead of it coming to us, don't we? How can I make this happen? I have to fight to get it. You relax and allow the consciousness of the unified field to organize an event that's right for you. You just have to get out of the way. There's an Abraham Hicks quote that floats around in my head. I can't remember it exactly, but it's something like, get the atmosphere right and the path will find you. I love that. I don't have to work to do this. So over time, when you practice elevated emotional states, the constant feeling of elevated emotions creates a new baseline. So instead of your normal emotional state being here, now it's going to be up here. So this new baseline influences a new set of thoughts equal to the heightened feelings. So do you see the pattern? New thoughts give rise to new emotions, which give rise to new feelings, which give rise to new emotions. When this feedback loop between the heart and the brain occurs, you're in a new state of being, which Dr. Joe says is the consciousness of the unlimited mind and the energy of profound love and gratitude. I want that. So when this process is repeated, your body reconditions, your mind rewires, and your biology reconfigures to your equal to your state of being. Your electromagnetic signature has changed and is now being transmitted to everything. So this new normal baseline of heightened emotions is due to the neuroplasticity of the brain. When we take a new action or a new thought, it's like a groove is marked into the brain. And when that action is repeated over and over again, the groove gets deeper. Over time, it finally becomes our automatic response. Now, a few years ago, I saw Joan Borsinko at Meyer Gardens. She called this groove samskara. When we perform such an action, a subtle impression is deposited in our mind field. Each time the action is repeated, the impression becomes stronger. Well, when an upsetting event happens in your life, wouldn't you like to demonstrate peace instead of a predictable reaction of anger, frustration, traffic lights? So is this going to happen the second time or the fourth time or the 40th time? Just as any habit takes time, so does this. Keep working on it. It requires awareness, intent, staying present, and constant attention to your inner states. So what happens if you don't spend time in the unified field? Well, the more you're living in survival, meaning in stress, the more you are physical matter, the less you are consciousness. This means you are physical matter trying to affect other matter. So you think by fighting, forcing, competing, manipulating, you're going to get a desired outcome. Does that sound familiar? That's what we do every day. The more your attention's on the outer world, the more you experience separation and lack. It doesn't work. When we take our attention off the external world, like people and things, and no longer have any attention on our body and stop thinking about our time and our schedules, we become no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time, just like I said before. We go beyond the self. We move from this narrow focus to a really open focus. When we do this, the different parts of our brain are working together in harmony, and we feel more whole. So the third section of this manual we should have been given is called Finding God, just like you talked about, what the kids do. So at the alpha brainwave level, we begin to connect with the unified field, or the quantum field, and we begin a journey to oneness. So as your consciousness begins to merge with the consciousness and energy of the field, you go from somebody to nobody to being everybody, to someone to no one to everyone, to something to no thing to everything, from somewhere to nowhere to everywhere, from some time to no time to every time. What would that feel like? Wouldn't that feel amazing? There is no separation, there's only consciousness. Since birth, you've been trained to keep your attention on matter and not on energy. You're conditioned to believing that you need your five senses to make your way in the world. You have to see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, feel it. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. Most people live here. I know I did. I used to be very proud of my closed mind. Silly me. I was certain of my beliefs. I'm not so certain anymore. So where you place your intention is where you place your energy. The moment you become aware of the unified field, your attention on it makes it expand. Think of when you have a toothache. You put your attention on it and it expands, and now all you can think about is your toothache. So when you put your attention on the unified field, as you become aware of it, you notice it, you experience it, you feel it, you interact with it on a daily basis, it shows up in your reality. It shows up as unknowns, as possibilities, as serendipities, synchronicities, opportunities, coincidences, luck, being in the right place at the right time, and awe-filled moments. Who wants more of that? Yeah, me too. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza says, the unified field is a divine loving intelligence and an intelligent love that is within and around you. So each time you focus your attention on it, you are becoming aware of the presence of the divine within and all around you. As you place your attention on it, the divine should appear in your life more. Did the divine just now show up? Does the divine now think, finally you're worthy? Of course not. You are perceiving more of a reality that has always existed. You merely lack the circuits to perceive it previously, because we did what? You rewired your brain. So if you can make this journey all the way to source consistently, you'll begin to behave like it. Its nature becomes your nature. And now more intelligent love is being expressed through you and as you. You will become more patient, forgiving, present, conscious, aware, giving, selfless, loving, and mindful. You realize that what you have been seeking is seeking you. The 13th century poet, the Sufi mystic Rumi, said that. What you are seeking is seeking you. You become it, and it becomes you. So who wants to go home and meditate tonight? Thank you.